Hi everyone, I am your new mentor Harshita, and in today's session we will be doing the Node.js revision. Okay, before starting that, let me give a brief intro about myself. So I've been working in Microsoft for the past 5 years, and I have worked in many teams. So I have worked with Microsoft Dynamics 365 team, which is a Microsoft's own customer relationship management system. I have worked with OneDrive and SharePoint team, and currently I am working with Office Extensibility team, which is responsible for the add-ins for Office products such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, SharePoint, OneNote, Teams, etc. So who gets excited when they hear the word Microsoft? Raise your hands. Okay. Okay. Nice. Would anyone like to share why they get excited? Don't be shy.
Ma'am, Microsoft is one of the biggest technology company in the world.
Okay. Do you want to work in Microsoft someday?
Yes, ma'am, if I get a chance.
Great, great. Let's see what's there in the chat. Package and cool working environment. Okay. Rupam has written, name is enough. Naam hi kafi hai. Nice, Rupam. Okay, guys. Okay. So I would also like to give you some motivation for your journey. Okay. So don't if you don't feel these principles apply to you, okay, for you in the motivation journey, feel free to ignore. Else you can, if you think it is something good, okay, you can try to apply it in your life and see the changes. Okay. So so this is a graph, okay, and it says if you do 1% more every day of the previous day, okay, then in the whole year you are going to become 37 times better at what you do. Okay. And the lower line says if you do 1% less of what you have done previous day, okay, what you become in 1 year, 0.03% of what you are. So are you willing to put that 1% extra effort every day? Raise your hands. Raise your hands, folks. And this is not just a graph. Okay, if you can prove it mathematically. Okay, this is just like a compound interest formula, if you remember. I think everyone in the group understands compound interest, is comfortable with mathematics. Okay, if even if you Google about what compound interest is, and if you see if you see and put these things in the compound interest formula, you will find it gives you this equation, and it gives you this equation if you do less than 1%. Okay. Now, the next thing. So now we try to analyze the previous graph, okay, a bit more. Okay. So what one would usually think, अगर हम 1% इम्प्रूवमेंट करते हैं हर दिन तो हमारा एक लीनियर इम्प्रूवमेंट होना चाहिए, राइट, विच दिस लाइन शोज द वेरी स्ट्रेट लाइन. ओके, बट दिस डज नॉट हैपन. व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि अगर आप 1% एक्स्ट्रा परफॉर्म करोगे हर दिन तो आपकी एट अ सर्टेन आफ्टर अ सर्टेन टाइम यू विल सी एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ. ओके, and this graph also says in the beginning, okay, before these two things intersect, before these two lines intersect, you will see आपकी जो growth है वो linear growth से भी कम है, okay, initial phases में. But once you reach that point, that critical phase, you are going to see different results, exponential growth. Okay, so just be patient with your journey. Okay, you are going to see the disappointment here. It clearly says it is going to be a phase of disappointment in the beginning. But after a certain time, if you are consistent, okay, with your journey, if you put in the efforts every day, you are going to become better. Okay? Excited?
Yes, we are.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's move ahead. So, I would like to know about the students who are in this group. Please share things about yourselves. What you want to learn, what you want to do in your life. आप यहाँ पे क्यों हैं, आपने ये कोर्स क्यों लिया है, आपका एम क्या है, कोई बताना चाहेगा? Anyone? Guys, speak up. Okay, okay. Aim not set yet. Shubham, why is it so?
Means I'm not sure what to do, what not to do in future, because I'm coming from the background which is like previously started my career with the catalog engineers.
Mm-hmm,
So after that, I go for the CRM management, then data analytics. Right now, I'm means like curious about the backend, so I'm pursuing this course. After that backend, what to do, what not, what will happen, I'm not sure. That's why aim is not set yet, and it's can't be like means that rigid. It can be flexible for me because
mm-hmm.
it can be depend upon like what is currently going on surrounding me. So in my way, aim is not set yet.
Okay. I really appreciate Shubham you speaking up and sharing it. Uh, so Shubham, there are short-term goals and long-term goals in our life, right?
Exactly.
So you can have short-term goals for now. Okay.
Right.
So to always chase a long-term goal, okay, you have to have short-term goals. Okay.
Okay,
and
nice.
and I see you have a like a growth mindset. Okay, so always have a growth mindset that I can do this thing even when I'm not comfortable with, let's say, back end. I will try, I will learn, and I will become the best. Okay, just have that attitude. Okay, and I would say also, like, whatever you want to be, if you want to be expert in back end, okay, start acting like one. What it means, have it in your attitude. Okay, so when you are given to solve a backend problem, if you are developing application, if you are facing an error, think of something like, if this problem, if a backend expert was dealing with this, how will that person approach this problem? Not you, but the backend expert. Okay?
Okay. Great, great.
Okay. Nice, Abhishek. Shall we move ahead if no one is willing to share more? Okay, let's go ahead. So, I would like to know from you guys. This is a Node.js revision class. Okay, are there any specific topics in your mind from lecture, let's say 1 to 6, which you want me to take? Okay, so starting from lecture 1 to 6, whatever you have studied. Okay, any specific topic, just let me know in the chat which topic you want me to revise, else I will start with the basics. Okay, middleware, serving static files, JSON, interesting. Start with basic. Okay, post body parser, middleware. Okay, okay, serving static files. Cool. We'll try to cover topics one by one, and I request all of you. Okay, so all the students. Okay, you are here. Uh, each other peers, you can say. Okay, so see, we have so many people asking different things, so just be little patient. Okay, I'll have to start with the basics because two people have said that, or more than two. If I take any one topic in the middle, let's say maybe middleware or static files, they will not be able to follow, right? So everyone here is equal, okay? And treat all your like peers in this group with respect and empathy, okay? Just have a little understanding. Everyone's question is, everyone's doubt is important, will be solved. Okay, just be patient. Cool. Oh, nice. Okay, sure. Okay, so can anyone tell me what Node.js is? Those who wanted to jump to the middleware, maybe they can answer. They want. Hmm. Okay, I see. People have some idea. Wow, great. Copying my answer. Great, Shubham. Uh, cool. So as you can see right now on the screen, what I have JavaScript. Okay, this is a JavaScript, and I have V8, and I have written it equal to Node.js. Okay, so Node.js is nothing but a way of running JavaScript outside of the browser. And how do we do it? We do it using the Chrome V8 engine. Okay. Now on the next slide. So this is just a one-liner for you, for just to be like in revision. Okay. So Node.js is an open source and cross-platform JavaScript runtime. So the important thing here is it is a JavaScript runtime. It only understands a particular language, which is what? JavaScript. Okay, and it is a runtime environment. The other two bold things here, you can see open source and cross-platform. So by cross platform you mean you can run it on any platform. Okay, so be it the desktop or mobile or across operating systems also, you can just run it. So on Windows you can run it, on Mac you can run it, on Linux you can run it. I would also like to know if all the students here are using Windows operating system, and let me know if anyone is using a different one in the chat quickly. Both Linux. Okay. Okay, cool. So, see, I'll have to have some uh, things to show which will be specific to operating system. Let's say maybe a command to list down the processes or things like that. So just bear with me if you want a Linux equivalent of it or a macOS equivalent of it. We'll look at, but we'll be mostly teaching, keeping in mind it is a Windows operating system. Okay. And by open source, we mean that it is not, it is open for everyone in the world. Okay. So any one of you in the group can go and see its code on the GitHub. It is there on the GitHub and you can contribute to it. Okay. So it is unlike, let's say many applications, let's say the code for Windows, it is hidden, right? It is not open source. You cannot see the code for the Windows. You cannot go to its repository, but Node.js is open source. You can see its internal implementation if anyone is super interested how things have been implemented. Okay, cool. Chalo, moving to the next slide. So how did Node.js come into existence? तो पहले क्या होता था, बहुत टाइम पहले जो भी वेब पेज बनाना होता था, इट इज प्योर HTML. ओके, उसमें कुछ इंटरैक्टिव फंक्शनैलिटी डालने के लिए जावास्क्रिप्ट वाज बोर्न. ओके, जावास्क्रिप्ट, and then it became very popular among the developers. It was there for quite a bit of time, but Node.js तब born नहीं हुआ था. But what happened is कि Chrome, with the birth of the Chrome V8 engine, JavaScript execution became really fast. Okay, और किसी ने सोचा कि क्यों ना हम JavaScript को ब्राउजर से अगर हटा दें तो सर्वर पे भी रन कर पाएंगे. तो how did they do this? So उन्होंने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया. उन्होंने क्रोम का V8 इंजन लिया और जावास्क्रिप्ट ली और उसको एक कंप्लीटली ब्राउजर के बाहर एक एनवायरनमेंट में रन किया. ओके, क्योंकि V8 से जावास्क्रिप्ट एग्जीक्यूशन बहुत फास्ट हो ही गया था, तो उन्होंने ये Node.js का एक हाउ डू आई से एक रन टाइम इंट्रोड्यूस किया फॉर पीपल to develop back-end applications also, server applications also. Earlier, JavaScript was restricted for client applications or browser applications. So whenever we are using the word client, right, it is going to refer to a browser. Okay. And Node.js, any Node.js application, it can be developed for mobile, desktop, and web. Okay. And why is it so popular? Okay, one of the reason it's performance. Okay, the second reason being it was able to handle concurrent requests. Okay, so ऐसा नहीं होता कि एक request आया, ठीक है, फिर Node.js उसको पूरा प्रोसेस करेगा और तब तक अगर कोई रिक्वेस्ट 2 आ गई तो वो रिक्वेस्ट 2 को हैंडल नहीं कर पाएगा. अगर बहुत सारी रिक्वेस्ट सेम टाइम पे आ रही हैं तो वो इन सभी को एंटरटेन कर पाएगा विद मिनिमल वेटिंग. ओके, एंड इन द फ्यूचर क्लासेस वी विल सी ये कैसे हो पाता है. ओके, बिकॉज जो जावास्क्रिप्ट है और you can say Node.js application, it is a single threaded process, right? जनरली इसका मतलब ये होता है अगर कोई चीज सिंगल थ्रेडेड है तो वो एक बार में एक ही रिक्वेस्ट या एक ही चीज को एग्जीक्यूट कर पाएगी. ओके, बट देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड इवेंट लूप. ओके, इसका इंटरनल्स है, ये आगे पढ़ेंगे हम. अगर कोई बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड है but ये सिर्फ एक introduction है, so we are keeping it to a minimum level right now, ताकि सबको एक idea हो जाए. Okay, so तो Node.js का implementation इस तरह से है कि अगर ये single threaded होने के बावजूद भी बहुत सारी request अगर same time पे आ जाएं तो वो उनको process कर सकता है. Okay. Let me read the questions in the chat. So it does not mean if a application is single thread, it is synchronous. If anyone, someone in the chat has asked this question. Cluster module use करते हैं हम multi threading बनाने के लिए. Rupam, I don't see your question relevant right now. Here there are many techniques for spinning up multiple threads. Okay, this is thread pool size. Okay, so Rupam, we can take this a bit late if it's fine by you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because this is very specific to threading and all, and we'll take it. Okay. Are you guys able to see a white screen or something else? Can anyone?
Whiteboard only.
Oh, let me reshare. I don't know, something has happened. Okay, so someone has mentioned in the chat to skip to Node.js installation. Okay, so Node.js installation is simple. You can do it by, okay, hands are raised. I see some hands are raised. Please speak up. Shubham, your hand is raised. And there's one more
No, nothing.
person. Ganga Reddy, your hand is raised. Okay, cool. So let's look at an example and also the installation part if anyone wants to see why. I don't know. Abhishek, can you tell me what do you want to see in the Node.js installation part? So you can go to the Node.js official website and you can install it from there. Okay, so this is the Node.js website. So this is one of the way to install it. You can have, you can install it whatever your operating system is, based on that you can install it. So there is LTS and current. So LTS is for long-term support. It will not have the current features, but it will support the backward compatibility. Current will only have, current will have the latest features, but it is not meant for long-term support. You can install any one of the things. Okay, for our course it is not going to interfere. And the other way is to use npm. Okay, Shubham, Abhishek, do you still want me to show how the installation is done? Just type it in the chat quickly. Okay, cool. Great. Sorry guys, there's some issue. I don't know why the white screen is coming up again and again. Let me reshare. So we will quickly jump to an example. Okay, Node.js example. So I hope you can see my VS Code screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we will start with a basic Node.js app. Okay. So I think in any programming word, what you do is you first write a hello world application. Okay. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to write a hello world application, but I will show you 3 different flavors of hello world application here. Okay. Okay. So everyone knows VS Code here, right? VS Code can be downloaded directly. If you type in the Google VS Code download, you can download it. Just type no if anyone doesn't know. Okay, I'm assuming everyone knows. Okay. So we'll go here. We will create a file. We will call it app.js. Okay. So we are going to create a .js file or a JavaScript file because Node only runs JavaScript. Okay. So that's why we are going to write. And this is simple JavaScript. Okay. It is something which you can run it in the browser also. You will see the same results. Okay. So this is a Node.js application. So I am named as app.js. So in every project or in any application, there's a starting point from where the code starts executing. And in our case, it is going to be app.js. Okay, so the code is going to be executed from the very first line of app.js. Okay, and you will see as in many in big projects there are a lot of JavaScript files. Okay, so to distinguish or to know which is the starting point, okay, we name most of the starting point files as app.js, index.js, or main.js, or server.js. Okay, you can name it anything which you want. It's just the convention. Cool. So I'm going to switch to command prompt from here. Everyone knows. If no one, if anyone is not comfortable with using a terminal, just quickly raise your hand. No, I am new, Deepak. Please raise your hand if anyone is not familiar with the terminal. Okay, I'm moving forward, assuming no one has raised hand. So, okay. So how to run this particular code, okay, which we have written right now. So we are just going to say node, and we are going to provide the name of the file, which is app.js. And if I hit enter, it should print, but the file was not saved. I assume that's why it hasn't printed. Okay, now I've saved the file. It has printed hello world. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the same thing and show you that it runs in the browser as well. Everyone is familiar with the browser console? Just raise your hands if anyone is not. So here also I just written console.log hello world. It has printed hello world. So it is pretty easy, pretty simple. Both the browser and an independent application running outside of the browser is executing JavaScript, and this is simply magic. Cool. Okay, now as you can see, it has printed hello world here on the screen. Okay, so it will not, this hello world message will not go to the browser or to the client. It will be there on the server machine. Okay, how do I make this hello world go to the browser? How do I do it? Can anyone tell me? Just write in the chat. I think बहुत लोगों ने पढ़ा हुआ है. Live server. थोड़ा और basic बताओ. Communication browser or communication between a browser and a server. How do I do it? Tell me the basic thing. No, is not a correct answer. Link HTML file, not a correct answer. No, none of the answers are correct. No, Shubhankar, connect JS file with HTML file. No. What is the basic thing?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
The thing is, अभी ये hello world जो है, ये एक सर्वर की मशीन के कंसोल पे प्रिंट हो रहा है जाके, राइट? अब मुझे
Yes,
क्या
ma'am.
करना है कि अगर मुझे एक कम्युनिकेशन एस्टैब्लिश करना होगा, अगर मुझे ये कोई भी मैसेज ब्राउजर में भेजना है या अपनी मशीन से बाहर भेजना है, ओके? सो अगर आप गूगल का पेज ओपन करते हो ब्राउजर में, तो क्या होता है कि कहीं पे एक सर्वर है, वो आपको यहाँ पे कुछ भी वेब पेज लाके दे रहा है, कुछ लाके दे रहा है ना ये. सो इट इज हैपनिंग थ्रू सम कम्युनिकेशन चैनल एस्टैब्लिश है कोई, राइट?
सर्वर क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं, that's not the right answer. मतलब that is some answer, but what is the basic thing? Communication established.
अच्छा.
सर्वर मान लो है मेरा, सर्वर रन कर रहा है, सर्वर मैंने रन करा दिया, फिर मैं क्या करूं? सर्वर क्या होता है?
पोर्ट पे चलाना पड़ेगा ना उसको, तो वो चल जाएगा.
चलो ठीक है, I'll tell you. तो जब भी हमें दो मशीन्स के बीच में कम्युनिकेशन एस्टैब्लिश करना है ना, तो वेरी क्लोज, तो हमें एक कम्युनिकेशन चैनल चाहिए, ठीक है? उसके लिए हमें राइट पोर्ट चाहिए, ठीक है? ताकि उस पोर्ट पे अगर कोई भी कम्युनिकेशन रिक्वेस्ट आए तो वो उसको लिसन कर पाए या उसको ले पाए और प्रोसेस कर पाए, ठीक है? उससे पहले बीच का क्या चाहिए? जो दोनों का एक कम्युनिकेशन प्रोटोकॉल चाहिए हमें, राइट? कि वो मेरी मशीन, क्लाइंट और सर्वर आपस में कनेक्ट कैसे करेंगे, राइट? तो उसके लिए हम क्या यूज करने वाले हैं? HTTP. HTTP पता है सबको या एक्सप्लेन करूं थोड़ा और? रेज योर हैंड्स. HTTP. ओके, HTTP is right. तो हमें एक सर्वर स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा जो किसी पोर्ट पे लिसन करे, राइट? तो हमने बताया है कि जो कम्युनिकेशन मेथड जो भी हम यूज करने वाले हैं वो HTTP यूज करने वाले हैं, और हमें एक पोर्ट चाहिए ताकि हम HTTP रिक्वेस्ट जो आएंगी उनके लिए लिसन कर सकें. तो हम एक HTTP सर्वर स्टार्ट करेंगे. ओके, श्योर, लेट मी ट्राई दैट. सो वी हैव established the fact that to have communication between two systems, what we need is a communication channel, okay? Or वो communication channel, the communication channel is going to work on a set of is going to follow certain protocol, right? It can be any protocol. So we have taken HTTP, and whatever the server we are going to start it on a port definitely, and we are going to make that server listen on that port for HTTP request. So so the two important thing is client should be able to send the request, and the second thing is server should be able to listen or process that request, right? Okay, so we have used here HTTP module. Everyone knows what this is?
Package.
It's not package, it's module. It's close, I would say. What else? Why HTTP? ऐसा क्या? What is it going to provide us? Why are we using HTTP? Anyone?
Protocol or communication means levels, way of communication between browser and
Okay, and why HTTP? Why not use any other thing?
HTTP and HTTPS. These only two of these are in these day are running right now. If
Mhm.
there are more than both of them, so I don't have idea.
Okay, okay, okay,
HTTP allows to communicate with server and client. That's why.
good. So HTTP is the simplest protocol which allows to communicate between client server and server to server also. Okay, in the curriculum, I'm sure you must be taught that we are going to deal with client server architecture, right? And there could be server to server. One server needs to speak to another server. And in the entire world wide web, HTTP or HTTPS is the most widely used protocol. Okay. And all of the production applications are using HTTP. And browser is especially is only understands HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Okay, so that is why we are going to use HTTP or HTTPS maybe in future, so that हमारा whatever the communication is, we are going to communicate with the browser. So the browser has to understand that communication protocol. So that's the reason why we have picked HTTP. Okay. Let me quickly check the chat. Yeah, right. So someone has said it is used to transfer web pages. Yes, that's right. Okay, so now we have used this particular module. So this is nothing but a module. Okay, modules we can download. Okay, but this particular module comes within the Node.js. Everyone has installed Node.js, right? On their machines. That's why they are able to run the first Hello World application, the first flavor, right? Now this module comes within the Node.js. If we need any other module, we can download it also, and we will see in the future we are downloading modules. Okay, so now what do I do next with this? Because this is a revision class. If anyone remembers, what do we do next? HTTP module ले लिया हमने, अब क्या करें? What should we do next?
Create server.
Yeah, we are going to create server. But anything else we need for creating the server?
Via function.
Or basic things. So okay, so when I ask if I need anything else, it means you have to tell me what I have to tell what I have to provide in the function parameters. What
Request and
input
response.
what input I have to give to the function.
Request and
Request and
response setting
response.
should be blank for initial way. After that, the server dot listen, and inside that function we can create request for URL or request for another method.
Cool,
It's a
cool. I
part.
think right. You are quite close, but a bit detailed or a bit clarity I'll provide. Okay, so listen carefully. दुनिया में so any server on this planet Earth, okay, is going to have an IP address. Okay, IP address is nothing but just an address which uniquely identifies a machine over a network. The terms which I'm using, right? IP networks. If anyone is having doubts, if anyone is not aware about those terms, just quickly raise your hand or write it in the chat. Okay. So I'll have to have certain IP. Okay. So let's say the host name or the IP is okay. So this is going to be my IP. And the other thing, I think someone has said it in the beginning, we need a port, right? So we need an IP and we need a port. So why we are needing a port? Why we are needing an IP? So if a particular server is running on a particular, okay, let me check the chat. Da, da, da. Nothing much, no such questions in general. So I have to send my, let's say you have to send a letter to your friend. Okay. So what you would do, you would either use email or you would use postal mail. If you use postal mail, you would have to know the address of your friend, okay, to send a letter. To send an email, you should know the email address of your friend. In the same way, because so in client server architecture, it is always and always the client who is going to send the first request. Okay. So it becomes important. There has to be some address so that the client can send request to that address. Okay. So that's why there's a concept of IP address or whatever and whatnot. So, but we are only going to see this particular demo on this machine. Okay. So that is why we have used the local host IP address. Okay. So this is the local host IP address of the machine. Okay. And why do we need a port? Okay, so let's say if a machine is running many applications, okay. So how do I uniquely identify a particular application running on that machine? We have identified the machine using the IP address, but we'll have to identify the application also to which we want to send the request, right? So you can say /IP. This identifies the machine. Okay. And what the code is going to do, it is going to identify the application running on the machine. So every application is mapped directly to a port, and that is how the application is identified. Any questions? I'm not clear about host name. Host name. Okay. So host name is just a variable here. Okay. You can keep it as IP also. You can name it anything. So for now, we have named it as host name. It is going to be the IP and it is going to the IP address of your machine. If I'm going to write, let's say IP config on the terminal, you can see it is sending me a list of certain IPs, right? What my IP is, but this particular thing, 127.0.1 is the local host IP address. So on any machine, if you hit a request to 127.0.1, it is going to point to the IP address of that particular machine only. Why you use it is so 127.0.1 is same as localhost. Okay, both you can say means the same thing. In real world, what happens in so localhost is just a string. Okay, but in real world, if you want to, so in real world, what you have is www.google.com, which is nothing but a name, right? It is a string, it is a name, but you need to map it with certain IP so that request can be sent. So whenever on internet you want to send a request, the name is not enough. something happens behind the scenes which tries to get the IP address for google.com. And okay, so similarly, so this is just a name. Even if I'm going to write a localhost in my browser, it is going to work. Any more doubt? Clear? Okay. Cool. Now we know to which machine we want to send, and we know to which application we want to send. Okay. Or this is server, or we should say we are telling to which application the browser should be sending the request. Okay, now we are going to create the server because we have everything with us. Okay, so constant server. So http dot create server is the method. Okay, now if you want to like become the expert, okay, in backend or in anything, what you need to do, you need to read the documentation. Okay, so take things very lightly in the beginning. You will not be able to understand the documentation. So when I'm hovering over it, right, a box is coming up, which is giving right, which has something written, right? So whenever you are writing something, right, try to understand that what it is trying to say, the documentation. Let me look at the chat. Okay. So if I hover on create server, it says it returns a new instance of server. Okay. Uh, and it is also telling me what this create server is a function and what is its input parameter is going to be, or what it is going to accept. So it is clearly saying it is going to accept a function called request listener. Okay, and there is a question mark, okay, which means that this parameter is optional. And then there is a type. Okay, this is the type uh, of this parameter. So the type is http dot request listener, and what this function is going to be return me, a type which is http dot server. Is this clear? Hey guys, actually, we are almost like close to 1 hour. So let's do one MCQ, okay? And I will resume from here. Cool. Please take the MCQ. This is a very, very easy question. Yes, MCQ is live. Rupam. Let's resume. So if there is anyone in the class who is not confident with what they answered for the MCQ, you can speak up, because I can see there are some wrong answers. Okay, then let's continue.
Hello.
Sorry, guys. This is my first time. Okay. So we were here on the create server thing. Okay. I was just telling you, if someone wants to look inside the documentation, they can what to control and click here and go here, and they can see this. Okay. Now, someone in the chat in the group said we have to provide a function, right? We have to provide a request and a response kind of thing, right? They said. But what we have to provide, we have to provide some input to this create server function, which is of type request listener. And what this request listener is, so this request listener is a function which has two parameters, okay? And it returns void, which means it returns nothing, okay? And is this clear? Okay, so we are only providing the function, okay? These are variables, so these variables must be set by someone, right? So who is going to set these variables? Okay, so this response object, right? You can also read it in the documentation. It is internally created by HTTP server and not by the user. Okay. Similarly, if you see here, right, you will be able to see this. Okay, so this object is also created by the server. Okay, so we are only going to provide a function here. Okay, so let me first write that function. So I am writing response and request, okay, two parameters, because it is accepting two parameters, but I can name it anything. Okay, I can name it like, oh, can name it request. Okay, I can name it this as response. Okay, the name part you can give anything. It's just the type which matters. Okay. So I've written here as request and response. Okay. Because the first parameter is going to be what request is. Okay. So that's why we have written request, to identify that the first parameter has to do something with the request, and the second one has to do something with the response. So if we name our variables clear or function parameters clearly, it becomes easy for us to understand without looking into the definition each time, what this is, what that is. Okay. So we are going to write something here. So this particular create server is accepting a function request listener. Now, the word request listener is very much intuitive. It means whenever a request is going to come, this function will execute, right? Isn't it intuitive? Okay. So what do we want to do when a request is coming up? We want to, let's say, write something. So let's just write hello world. Okay. And this is important. We have to mention clearly that there is nothing more we want to do. We are going to end this. Okay. And we can also set the status code. We will see something, what a status code is. We will see it in the browser actually. Okay, because this is the response and it's going to be returned to the browser or whoever calls this. Now tell me what needs to be done next. Listening. Right. So whatever we have done is, okay, it is not sufficient to process any HTTP request because we are not listening at that particular port. Okay, so we have to listen at that particular port so that this application gets the request. So this host name is optional. If you want to provide it, you can, or you can just skip it also. So let's say we want to print something here. So let's print. So now if I do, let's say node app.js, are things going to work? सब कुछ कर लिया ना, everything we have done, right? For a basic hello world application. Yes, hopefully it will work. So let's just spin up the server. Okay. So the file was not saved earlier. That's why. Now we see that it sends a message to the screen. Server running at this particular thing. Okay. Now let's go to the browser and see what is happening if we are going to hit it. See, hello world. Hello world is coming up here. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me why when every request comes? Okay, let me do a bit of modification also. Are you guys comfortable with Node Mon, or you still use Node only?
Madam, we use Node as well.
Okay. Set. Okay. Next time I'll run it with Node Mon. So actually let me do one thing. First clear the screen. Okay, let's try hitting this again. Hello world. Yeah, this is working. Okay. यहाँ पे इसने 2 बार बोला request received. Can anyone tell me request एक बार आई है तो 2 बार क्यों यहाँ पे आ रहा है? You guys have worked with this piece of code, right? Without Express also, how to set up HTTP server and all, right?
मैम जितने बार मतलब रिफ्रेश करते उतने बार मतलब प्रिंट होता है, आई थिंक सो.
Okay, right. So important thing to notice, console.log is printing on server, and whatever we are writing in response object, right? It is going to send to the browser. ठीक है? पहले हमने क्या किया था, console.log we have written here only, so server पे print हो रहा था. You see के ये 2 different hello world applications कैसे हैं, right? Okay. चलो मैं फिर से ये क्वेश्चन पूछती हूँ. Let me close this tab, open a new tab. ठीक है. अभी देखो यहाँ पे, just look at the screen and see. Only 2 things are here, right? Request received written only 2 times. Okay. Now tell me, अगर मैं hit करूँ तो how many times will it print on the screen? Quickly. चलो देख ही लेते हैं. Again 2 times. Why? Yeah, a total of 4, right? But why? Someone was just saying it depends on the times we refresh. Okay, can anyone tell me next how to investigate this? How to debug or solve this, or how to look why request receives getting printed twice? Anyone? Chalo. Firstly, okay, so हम just focus on the approach, ठीक है? Whatever I'm going to tell you, okay, don't focus on the solution. I'm going to tell you, if you are facing a problem, how you are going to develop an approach to debug it. यहाँ पे, so in this particular scenario, we have two parties or two entities. One is client and one is server. Okay, so we have to see what is going wrong. So things can be going wrong from client, or it can be server, or it can be both, or it can be that things are just fine. We just have to see how the client is behaving. Okay, so firstly, let's say हम क्या कर सकते हैं सर्वर के एंड पे debug करने के लिए. Anyone quickly tell me, ऐसा क्या लिखे कंसोल लॉग में कि हमें कुछ पता चले? What should I write in the console log so that I know that what I get some more information? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to print some more information. I am attempting to print some more information because this particular method or function is supposed to execute only for one request, or for each request it is going to execute. The browser is sending only one request. Why it is getting executed twice? देखते, let's investigate. Okay. Okay, now we see some information on the screen. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone try to interpret these lines? Yeah, first here you can see a slash is printed. Then in the console log, request received is printed. Then this thing is printed. Anyone? So we have written two console log statements, right? On line number 9 and line number 10. Okay, let me check chat. First is home path, right? No idea of, great. Okay, great. First is the home path. That is a quite trivial, I mean, fav icon dot typo. We will see कि क्या हो रहा है. We will see what is happening. So, so my aim was to teach you the approach on how to debug, right? My aim is not to tell you the solution. So issue can be anything for you. How do you proceed to debug? So you write some more information. Okay. And you check your fundamentals. Okay. When I look at this particular create server, I know by looking at its documentation that this thing is going to execute once for one request for sure. So I know my fundamentals are clear. Something is happening wrong because now I've seen it is getting two requests. Okay. So server is working perfectly fine. It is getting two requests. We don't know somehow because request is something which is coming from outside of the server or from client. If server is going, if two requests are coming to the server is performing correctly. Any doubts here? किसी को डाउट है क्या कि सर्वर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है या सर्वर एंड में प्रॉब्लम है अभी? Write quickly in the chat so that I can proceed. The students who said that we have to start from the basics, okay, So this is the point where you can say in the chat, okay, come on, or raise your hands. किसको सब कुछ समझ में आ गया? Raise your hands if you understood everything till now. If you raise your hand, if you understand each and every line which is written from line number 1 till line number 18, just raise your hands.
Favicon is a type of generator, so that's why the request
No,
received
I'm not
is.
asking about favicon right now. I appreciate you attempting to like answer this question. I will ask you again. I'll give you a chance. Okay. I'm waiting for 10 more seconds. Raise your hands if you understand line 1 to 18, everything. If not, say something in the chat. Please, please. Because this is the last time we are going to do the revision for Node.js. It won't happen in the future. Yeah, I'll tell you how favicon came in the console. Okay. So there is a bit conflict. कोई ये बोल भी नहीं रहा है कि उसको सब कुछ समझ में आ गया है, ठीक है, और कोई ये भी नहीं बोल रहा है चैट में कि उसे क्या समझ में नहीं आया है. I'm not asking about what is getting printed in the console. I'm asking जो भी code लिखा है, whatever the code I have written, if every line is clear or not. Okay, I'm proceeding. Shubhankar. Claps for Shubhankar. Great, Shubhankar. Favicon. Right. All clear. Good. If everything is clear, you have to raise your hand. Congratulations to all those who raised their hands. They are going to do amazing things in future with Node.js in this curriculum. Don't be shy. Just raise your hand. Arey yaar, it motivates me also. I'm putting so much effort. Come on. Nice. I want at least more than 10 hands raised. Come on. Rest. Please ask questions. Please. चलो नहीं उठा रहे बाकी लोग हाथ. Let's proceed. Okay, so now it is confirmed. Great. So now it is confirmed. Server पे कोई problem नहीं है. Okay, there is no problem at server end. Server is functioning exactly what it is told to do. Okay, always remember this thing. Whatever code is you are going to write, your computer is blindly going to follow that code. If something is happening wrong, it means you have written the wrong code. It's not the computer which is wrong. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So now we will switch to browser and see. Okay.
ये
Because
favicon का आपने बताया ही नहीं, ये है क्या?
हाँ बता रहे हैं. Anyone? I think someone wanted to attempt to answer this. I am sorry, I did not allow that time. You can proceed now if you want.
हाँ,
Else
मैंने
I'm going to proceed.
गूगल किया था तो मुझे पता चला ये जनरेटर है जो डिस्प्ले करता है एड्रेस बार को हर ब्राउजर में. सो इस
Cool.
कारण
Good attempt. So now it is clear something is coming from browser. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to open a new tab and I'm going to open the console also. And I'm going to open the network tab here. ये करना सबको आता है? DevTools, how to open DevTools in browser? नहीं आता तो chat में जल्दी से say yes or no, whatever. चलो, I'm proceeding. Oh, what? Let me zoom in a bit. for you guys in the dev tools.
Visible है अभी भी.
Good, good. ओके तो हम यहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीज देखने वाले हैं, बहुत बहुत अमेजिंग चीज है, ठीक है. अरे लेट मी रीशेयर. I don't know, that white screen comes up because of some reason. So when I wrote this thing, right? What did I write here? So whatever the server URL is, because I wanted to hit the server, so I had to provide the IP address, the port, and I've also provided the protocol. If I copy this URL, right, and you see I write it here. So you see HTTP भी है साथ में, ठीक है. So there are three things I'm providing right now. Protocol, which is HTTP. दूसरा thing is IP, and third thing is port. Cool. So here only it visibles that IP and port is there, but protocol is also there. Okay, cool. So we have configured in the server, HTTP protocol will be used, this IP will be used, and this particular port will be used. Everything is working fine. And we are able, that's why we are able to see hello world. Okay, so let's analyze these requests. Okay, we were able to see 2 requests on the server because client has sent 2 requests. So nothing is wrong anywhere. Okay, so fav icon क्या होता है? If you see this tab, right, यहाँ पे ये icon दिखा रहा है on the top. किसी को डाउट है इसमें?
नहीं डाउट तो फैब आइकन तो ये तो मीरो का दिखा रहा है ना, तो ये लोकल
हाँ
होस्ट
हाँ
का
हाँ हाँ, that's what I'm trying to say. So local host का if we try to see, रुको let me, किसी को दिख रहा है क्या इस पेज का जो लोगो आ रहा है बना हुआ, अब ग्लोब का 2D इमेज
दिख रहा है मैम.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it is hidden for me because of the zoom controls. So that is something fav icon. Okay, so ब्राउजर में क्या होता है कि ये है कि अगर आप पेज रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे किसी भी वेबसाइट के लिए तो वो बाय डिफॉल्ट फैव आइकन के लिए भी उसी यूआरएल पे रिक्वेस्ट भेज देगा, ठीक है. We have not specified what request browser was to send. We only send the first request, which is HTTP this. Okay. Browser by default fav icon को यहाँ पे append करके भेजेगा. So by default browser will send a fav icon request. Okay. There are various ways by which you can eliminate fav icon request. Okay.
okay means if we use direct means like localhost 3000, then fav icon will doesn't appear. If we use the host IP address, then this is appearing.
Okay. एक बार फिर से let me what were you saying?
Means like if we use the host means IP address total 127.0.0.1:3000, then the fav icon appear. If we use localhost :3000, then fav icon will not appear. I tried in both way in my local system. You may also try.
Okay, we can try.
Fav icon is only means attached with the IP or something.
Oh, let's look at that. So it's all browser implementation. That is what I was trying to say. The highlight of the problem is, so that is the browser application, which is behaving like this and sending the fav icon. Yes, you were saying something?
Yep.
So
Again, fav icon is visible for you, but in my local system, it's not visible if I'm using localhost.
which browser are you using? Are you using a browser or using Fiddler or Postman or any other tool?
No, I'm using a browser.
So
Okay.
let's take it later. Okay. So fav icon wala aega because browser ka implementation is a browser implementation of browser's behavior that it will by default send a fav icon thing. But what we get in the response? Hello world. So is browser but the browser has not displayed hello world on the top icon. It, if it does not find the relative thing, right? If it does not find the actual thing, it is going to, if it is not going to find an image, I should say. Okay, I will explain you why it is looking for an image. Okay, give me some time. It will by default show some icon. Okay, now if we go down and look at request header, actually before going that, just analyze this general part also. So request URL, everyone is clear. Request method, what is request method? I hope everyone is clear. Status code. So this is a status code 200, which we had set up in server. So we wrote that right here. Okay, this is the status code we want to send. Okay, so that's why it is appearing 200. Okay, remote address of the machine is this. Referrer policy, we will deal with it in this session only if time permits. Response header, थोड़ा बाद में देखते हैं. Let's jump to request headers. So request headers, there's something called accept. It says this particular request is going to accept image slash some format, image slash some format, image slash some format, image slash some. Okay, and this queue has something like it's not very important for this, but if anyone wants to know, we will take it later because we are running out of time. That's but what it has received. This tab icon is saying I will accept image, but I'm not getting image. I'm getting text. Okay, so that's why it is because it is not getting an image. Browser knows it is not getting an image and it has displayed a by default icon. Okay, clear? Similarly, every request has a request header, response header. Now in the first request, accept whatever the first request we wrote in the browser, the method was get. So always remember this thing till this date, till today's date, 21st Feb. Whatever you are going to write in the URL, it is always going to be sent as a get request. Okay, always remember this. Browser supports post requests also, but you cannot send post requests from the address bar. We will see later how we can do it. I hope you know what get and post requests are. There are different kinds of requests. Cool. So, okay, let me reshare. Again, some white screen has come up. Okay, cool. Now let's look at what this is. Referrer policy here. Saying strict origin when cross origin. Let's understand what origin is. Okay, so you see in the request URL, right? There's something called HTTP. Then there's an IP address. Then there is a port number. So the first three things which you see, the protocol, IP address, and the port number, it is defined as the origin. So these three things together make origin. Understood? If in the same request URL, if you replace by HTTP by HTTPS, they will not be same origin. They will be different origins. If you change the IP address to something else, it will be different origin. Or if you change the port, it will be different origin. If you change any one of the three things, it will be a different origin. So that is origin. So what happens is, okay, so this website, the web application you are developing, right? It may need to send, let's say, a request to some other origin. Okay. So let's say when you are opening www.google.com, okay, and you type for news, right? So it may show you the data from news.google.com or some place else, or maybe from a completely different web page. right? It shows that. And when you click on that particular card, so let's say you searched on the Google Facebook, ठीक है, हमने Facebook डाला है यहाँ. When I'm going to click is with this particular origin, which is google.com, I am going to go to a different origin, right? इतना तो क्लियर है कि facebook.com और google.com की आईपी अलग होगी, so that's why origin अलग अलग है. इतना तो क्लियर है. तो जब मैं यहाँ पे क्लिक कर दूंगी तो जो रिक्वेस्ट जाएगी उस रिक्वेस्ट को हम कहेंगे स्ट्रिक्ट ओरिजिन व्हेन क्रॉस ओरिजिन. इसका मतलब ये है कि जब google.com से रिक्वेस्ट गई, ठीक है, when the request went from google.com to facebook.com, okay, so there is referrer policy जिस तरह से है, the same way we have a referrer header, referrer. So referrer में they are saying सिर्फ origin mention होना चाहिए, सिर्फ google.com mention होना चाहिए, nothing other than google.com. So the complete URL right now is something search / this and that. So in the referrer, they are saying only strict origin, only in the referrer header, this should be displayed. It is because of the security reasons. Okay, let's see if you would have some sensitive information here, okay, in the URL. Okay, you don't want that to be sent, right, in the referrer, because it will be sent to facebook.com in the referrer, because from this page we are requesting. Okay, so this is something which happens. This is a browser behavior. I'm just trying to make you understand, but you can for now simply ignore this. It is not going to be used. Just remember something. There is something called origin. Okay, and as and when the need comes, we will deal with it. Okay. Now, similarly, there are request headers here, except I've told you, except encoding is their language, connection key, and blah, blah, blah. So there's tons of things. If I go for everything, it will take too much time. Okay, now we have similarly response headers hai hamare paas. It says connection keep alive and blah blah and whatnot. So a homework for you guys would be, if you are interested, to go and understand the meaning of these. What does this mean? What does header mean? Okay, if you are willing. Now again, let's look at something else. So in the DevTools, you can see the method is get, and this you can see status. What is the status? What is the scheme used? And it also shows the type. What do you got in the response? You got document, you got text plain or whatever. So something called initiator, it is very important, and we will deal it, I think, sometime in the next lectures. So size is the size of the response which you received, and time is how much time it took. So DevTools is pretty much helpful. Okay, so one important thing is if you note the connection ID, okay, and this waterfall thing. Okay, so this waterfall thing is going to show you when was this particular request issued from the browser. These are like basic concepts, but you don't need until you are debugging too much. So I'm just giving you an intro. Feel free to skip if it is okay, if you are not interested in this. So it gives you a waterfall model when this request has begun. So you can see here also when this request has begun, it shows you a timeline. 10 milliseconds, 20 milliseconds, and there's different kinds of this red thing and blue thing. It has certain meanings. I will tell you later. Okay. And you see now in the waterfall, this fav icon thing was triggered very late. So there is a logic behind it why the fav icon is triggered late. Okay. If anyone who is super curious, they can, I think they should try to search it why the fav icon is delayed so much and it is sent. Why not just immediately after the request completed? Okay. but it's completely optional. It's just for your own curiosity and interest. That's how you are. If you are curious about something, that's how you're going to learn things and become expert. Okay, but it's not very much used. Just feel free to skip it. Now, connection ID. It's important. Okay, so connection ID has to do something with HTTP. Sorry, TCP. Um, Anyone who does not know what TCP or never heard this word, just quickly. Okay, I'm going. So it means, as you can see here, we are using what protocol we are using? HTTP/1.1. Okay, so there is HTTP1. Let me check the chat. Protocol user transfer data. Yeah, right. So TCP is more than that, actually. Uh, so the protocol here says HTTP/1.1. So there is HTTP1 also. There is HTTP2 also. Whoever is curious, learn about them. Okay. Now I will only explain HTTP 1.1 and the relation with the connection ID. Okay. So as you know, we need a TCP connection. Okay. HTTP works on the TCP. Okay. Transport layer protocol is TCP. So it is going to utilize the same TCP connection. That is why the ID is same. Okay. Uh, And in the waterfall, you see that the request was, let me do one more thing. Let me sort it by time, by when they were. So in the waterfall model, you see that this request was issued here and this request was issued later. Why was not it issued in parallel? There is one thing. So firstly, because HTTP 1.1 does not support such a kind of thing, it only supports utilizing an existing connection. So that is all you should know about HTTP 1.1. Okay. Any questions so far? I think most of the things are clear. I think should be clear. For the basic version of Hello World app, I am going to start the MCQ. If anything is not clear, just quickly say it in the chat, please. Saurabh's hand is raised. Saurabh's iPhone. Saurabh,
सर मैम वो गलती से हुआ
okay. Everything is clear, Saurabh?
यस यस मैम
Okay. चलो MCQ start करते हैं. Give me some time. Okay. I will let you know when the MCQ is live. MCQ is live, guys. Sure. I'll take the question. Please go to the MCQ. Okay. So MCQ time is over. I hope everyone tried to answer. Okay. I can see some of the students have like answered incorrectly. Guys, please speak up or write something in the chat. अगर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, if any concept is not clear, just put it in the chat. Okay. So I think before going to the third flavor of Hello World app, I will take up the questions in the chat because this is the revision session. Important thing is the doubts are cleared first. Mhm. Okay. And just one thing, if you see that your question is not answered, it's probably because I have missed while scrolling it. So raise your hand or just speak up. Okay, if you find your question is not answered. Okay. Let's take. Can you repeat TCP protocol? Okay. So so for communication to happen, we said that we need HTTP, right? So HTTP is application table protocol, which means my browser application understands it or my Node.js application understands. Okay, but when we are sending request, we are sending some data from our browser, okay, which goes over the network in real world scenario. So when you hit www.google.com on your browser, okay, the data is going out of your machine into the network to the IP address of google.com. Okay, so that particular communication happens via TCP protocol. TCP protocol is like a set of instructions, you can say a set of instructions which has to be followed by heart for the communication on how to establish the communication. Okay. For now, that is the brief about TCP. Do you want me to tell you more about TCP or is it clear a bit?
Ma'am, for requesting like browser, we use HTTP protocol, ma'am. So I'm confused in TCP and HTTP.
So that's what I'm telling you. There is something called application. So you understand what application is? Your browser is an application, right? Your WhatsApp is an application.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So जो applications है ना, they run on HTTP protocol. Not run, they understand HTTP protocol. They don't understand TCP. इतना clear हुआ?
Yes, ma'am.
अब हमें क्या करना है, हमारी एक एप्लीकेशन, तुम्हारा व्हाट्सएप तुम्हारे फोन में है, right? Your WhatsApp application is on your phone. WhatsApp, let's not take the example of WhatsApp because we will delve into many things. It's not for client server architecture. ठीक है? So let's take the example of Gmail. ठीक है? Gmail is on your phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say it Gmail again, it is quite complicated.
They use
let's
WebSockets, ma'am.
let's use a Chrome browser in your application only. That's all. Okay. So when you write, let's say search anything, okay, the browser understands HTTP protocol, but it has to send the data into the network. तुम्हारे फोन से बाहर कहीं डेटा जाएगा. जब तुम्हारे फोन से बाहर डेटा कहीं जाएगा, then only it will reach to a server. And in the process, a lot of things happen. Okay, so there are a lot of components in the network. Okay, or there are many different components. Just think of the whole world, the World Wide Web. It is a very big network, right? So we have to have a set of things, predefined things, or a contract, or that the communication will happen using this way. Protocol is nothing but uh, it is a set of instructions, you can say. Okay. Okay, that communication will happen like this. Once once the data comes out of your phone into the network, it will go through certain things, and so now you have a way of, so there is a communication channel. Okay, once you are able to send the data from your phone to some other machine, which is Google server, let's say. Okay, how the communication is happening? That is happening through the TCP protocol. So data is sent out in terms of packets, right? So the routing of these packets has to happen. Many things have to happen. So it's just a protocol which exists between um, once the data leaves your machine and before the data enters the server, or vice versa also, because यहाँ क्लाइंट से डेटा गया तो सर्वर से भी डेटा आना है ना, so सेम चीज टीसीपी प्रोटोकॉल पे होगी. HTTP TCP protocol यूज करता है. There is one more protocol called UDP protocol. The same is the idea is same. We have to transport packets, right? But मान लो नेटवर्क ब्रोक हो गया बीच में, तो पैकेट्स लॉस हो सकता है. तो TCP टेक केयर्स ऑफ इट वेरी thoroughly that no packet is lost. You get the data what you wanted. Okay, is this clear?
So it helps to like build connection between client and server.
It I would not say helps, but जो communication है, it happens through a set of instructions के defined के हाँ communication ऐसे होना है. ठीक है. जब आप किसी को कॉल करते हैं, whenever you call someone, how the communication happens, you say hello, hello, right? So a similar thing, it's there. TCP says hello, hello.
Okay.
I will explain it in detail what TCP protocol, but the idea is once the packet leaves your machine, once the data leaves your machine, how it is going to transport it. So there comes the transport layer, right? So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is a protocol. Okay. When you order food, like the food leaves the restaurant and comes to you. So in the transit, what is happening? Transport is happening. There is a sending end and there is a receiving end, and in between what is happening? Transport is happening. Now there is a protocol, okay, that the Zomato food guy should not eat the food in between. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so that is the defined protocol. Okay, but if it is UDP, the Zomato guy can eat your food in between. Okay, that guy can taste your food. Okay, so in TCP it is guaranteed that the packets will not loss or the data loss नहीं होगा, but UDP में हो सकता. इतना समझ में आ गया?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके. एक ना MCQ कर लेते हैं. क्वेश्चंस करेंगे, आंसर, ठीक है? So this is the last MCQ for today. I've kept the questions to be very easy. See guys, I'm taking up the questions in order I'm seeing it on my screen, ठीक है? So don't think कि किसी का आंसर नहीं किया मैंने in between. Just be patient. Next session में आंसर हो जाएगा, ठीक है? So MCQ is live. This is the last MCQ, guys. Please go ahead. चलो गाइस, MCQ इज डन. ठीक है. एक क्वेश्चन है जो कि MCQ से रिलेटेड पूछा गया है, इसलिए मैं उसको ले रही हूँ, उस क्वेश्चन को. Explain third MCQ. So I am reading the third MCQ. If you don't think that's the question, or just let me know. So the question, I'll also paste it in the chat actually. That will be better. So this is the third MCQ according to me. Okay. What did you answer? I mean, the answer is. What do you guys think should be the answer? Okay, so I'm reading it again. Node.js uses an event-driven blocking IO model. So, Nileshwar, tell me, so what is the thing which you are not able to understand? If you guys don't know what event-driven is, what IO model is, or what blocking is, non-blocking, just let me know. If you don't understand the question in itself, Nileshwar, just let me know. Answer, don't answer. I'm asking Nileshwar. Is it clear? Is the answer clear, Nileshwar? You did not get this question? Is that what you are saying? Okay. Can anyone help me understand what he is trying to say? Nileshu, can you speak up if it is fine? चलो, let's take it in the next class. Explain कर देंगे ये पूरा क्वेश्चन का मतलब क्या है. Okay. Now I'm lost. किसी ने कुछ पूछा था. Okay. Let me share my screen again then. Someone has asked why two requests received is appearing 2 times in the terminal. Because the browser was sending 2 requests. That's why. For every request, the request handler or the request listener will be executed. So as you can see here, the browser is sending 2 requests. Okay, to the same.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So the second request is for the favicon. Is that
Yes,
the
yes,
reason?
it's yeah, that's for the favicon. It's the browser behavior or the browser implementation. So there are ways you can block this or you can get rid of this. There are many ways. We will deal with it later. So this is not important. This was just to give you an understanding how to debug. If you're facing any problem at hand, how to debug. Okay. I hope
Okay,
you
right.
understood like how to approach.
Yes, yes, thank you.
My intention was to make you understand or develop a thinking how to solve a problem. Okay. It's clear, right? Only 2 minutes are remaining, guys. What happened if we didn't write status code? Let's see. I am assuming if we didn't write, it won't be a problem because we are not explicitly, there is no error. So that's why there won't be a problem. It will still say 200. Okay, it still says 200. By default, if no error happens, everything is good, everyone is happy, server is happy, client is happy, so we get 200. So I wanted to show you the status code thing here. Because we were setting it here, that is why we are able to see it in the browser, or it gets set by some code which is hidden. But you can always change the status code to what you want to set. That was the intention. Clear? Only 1 minute remaining. किसने पूछा था? गाइस जो भी क्वेश्चंस है ना कल करते हैं. ठीक है, वी स्टार्टेड एट 9:05 तो 11:05 तक जा सकते हैं. But what I intend, what I like, I expect you to be to come on 9 because uh, because I work and I have sometimes I have calls uh, in midnight also because we collaborate with teams across the globe, US and whatnot, and the official timings for this is 9 to 11. Uh, I don't want to be very rigid on you. Just please try. Okay. We aim to start the session at 9 sharp and we aim to complete it by 11 sharp. Okay. आज 11:05 तक करते हैं. We'll take it for 5 more minutes. और किसी का क्वेश्चन है? Okay, I'm already getting a call from my office, guys. That's why I wanted to set the expectations right so that my work is not affected. Come on, questions. हाँ करते हैं जर्नी शेयर करते हैं. It was बहुत एफर्ट डालना था. चलो let me share my journey. ठीक है, how I started. So I joined Microsoft directly from college. In the year 2016, I completed my bachelor's in computer science and engineering, and I directly joined Microsoft. In my third year, so I got an opportunity to interview for internships also, but for Microsoft, I was not selected. Okay. So there was a group fly round. I don't know if you guys are aware. So I was just I took that thing, whatever the feedback, why I was not selected for internship as a very hard thing on me. I tried to improve a lot. So I try to improve myself a lot and try to find your own mistakes is what I can say. Just be very consistent. I did a lot of coding practice. Okay. Of course, projects we have to do like this, merge stack projects or things similar. But the idea always is to have very strong fundamentals. Okay, that's why I was focusing you to let me know if you understand each and every line. Okay, because this is just a journey for you right now where you are just going to develop an application for learning, right? But when you go to the company, you are going to develop the application for, let's say, the entire people on earth. Okay. WhatsApp, if you do, let's say someone who has written WhatsApp does not understand a single line which they have written, what impact it is going to have. Okay, maybe one line because that person is not able to understand. Okay, just copy it from somewhere. It is going to compromise the privacy. It is going to do many things to your phones. Okay, it leaves a port open, let's say, so that anyone can make a request on that port and do any kind of stuff, right? So that's why the important thing is clear your fundamentals. um, so in my college, Microsoft visited the campus, so that's how I got the chance to interview for the company. And Microsoft has offline drives also. So what they do is they don't visit your campus. They have a um, offline drive. So they invite you to a different college campus, and you can go there and give interviews, and then there will be many rounds, group fly rounds. There are whole many rounds. Okay, so that's how the process is. Anyone who is interested, any fresher or any experienced professional, they can apply on the official website, which is careers.microsoft.com, or they can engage with a known employee of Microsoft and ask them for a referral. So these are the processes. Yes, I was selected in the college placement. Answer to your question, Pragyanshu. I think that's all for today. Okay, all the questions are React ka, I don't know for now, but let's see. But I think that's something I'm not clear if I'm the one who will be going to teach React, but let me ask the coordinator. I've not looked at the whole curriculum. I just looked at the backend thing right now. So I will let you know. चलो जिसके भी क्वेश्चंस रह गए हैं कल आंसर करते हैं ठीक है प्लीज डोंट हेजिटेट टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस जस्ट spam the chat, not spam the chat literally with your questions only. Okay, just fill the chat with your questions. Just make a note, जिसका भी क्वेश्चन आंसर नहीं हुआ we will definitely take it tomorrow. और कुछ तो नहीं है. That's all. Which IIT? I'm not from IIT. I'm from NIT Allahabad. Okay. Chalo, guys, just practice it. Okay, and try to read things. Put some effort. वो 1% extra वाला याद रखना, ठीक है? चलो raise your hand. कौन-कौन याद रखना चाहता है 1% extra वाला? Great. ठीक है guys.
मैम अटेंडेंस रेट कर दीजिए ना.
अच्छा रुको, I will just do it. I was doing it. Yep. I'm just doing it, guys. This is my first time and a lot of things are there. So cool. So there's going to be an assignment. Check कर लेना time पे. 1% extra करो and surely you will see the changes. Bye. Good night.